Good afternoon. So I'm starting this series on the psychology of music, and I started the last series. It was actually the second video because I started the last series back in 2018 at legalization, because that was, let's say, there's some important things in that podcast that pertain to the first series. So the first series was actually the second video is kind of the intro to the series, and I said that I would be explaining every song as far as I could understand, because it is like deciphering a code of Akae Beka's Polarities album. I did kind of include a few videos in that series about everything about this album, and I actually did an Everything Blessed kind of video. However, I didn't go through the lyrics and talk about what the lyrics could mean, and that's kind of what I was looking to do. But if you wanted to look at that video, I'll include it in the description down below, and it is teaching how you can treat everything as it's blessed. You'll get that back from the world, right? And I do the video pertaining to the cultivation of sacred plant medicines. That's more living the song. Now this is going to go through the lyrics and actually talk about what they might mean. And every time I speak on the meaning of something, I don't really know the absolute meaning. And the whole point of the polarities is it's a hermetic principle, is that there's all but half truths. So whatever I'm saying, there's always another truth to it. So don't get too caught up in anything. And I'd love to hear other people's opinions on these breakdowns, because I am definitely not seeing all the magic of them. There's even parts where I'm not too sure, so I'm gonna guess. So here goes. Everything's blessed. I'm starting on song 6. Well, it just so happens that's the one that I felt inspired to start with, and I finished the last video series with 66, so we're gonna start the first series on number 6. And that's the thing, is people there's another lesson, is like, Tesla talked about the 369 Tesla code and the sacred numbers, and I did a video on sacred geometry and some pretty far out theories and stuff like that based on these numbers and how it pertains to music structures and such. And I'll put that video in the description down below also. They're pretty rough videos, and the whole point of it is I just wanted to go into a flow and see what comes out in those videos. So I'll have that in there. But yeah. Here we go. So it starts out, righteous free out. All I hear, tell you say, not left yet. Vibes are to feel and come out of fret. So I'm not gonna get to the righteous free out and all I hear tell you say, not left yet, because it might explain itself later in the song. And if you don't, yeah, okay. So the vibes are to feel and come out of fret. Well, I think about that as, there's another hermetic principle, and it is that all is mind. And so if we are feeling these vibes, but they come from like fret, which is fear, that's that seeing things as blessed, it gives us a crutch to lean on in a world of fret. And but if you don't have to be a part of the fret or the fear, then you can be a part of the blessings more, right? The more you're fearing, and the less you're connected to things. And royal people, everything's blessed. So for in Rastafari, royalty isn't your crown on your head. It is more if you are a righteous person and you do righteous things, then you are royalty, and you should treat yourself as that, and people should treat you as that. And that's like and everyone is blessed, you know, in the little things that they do that are blessings, right? So that's what would Jesus do in a situational basis. So if you see somebody that's 99.9% demonesque but still does that 0.1% thing and you notice it, that's a blessing you could call out, because that might encourage him to become more like that one deed he did do, right? So we should be treated as royalty for what we do, not what we say or the blood that we have in our skin and such, right? So it's the living of it, such unique culture. The parking is flooded. The crowd has not reached yet. Well, it's kind of like I see it kind of like the Hopi prophecy, where there's two paths going, right? And there is a ton of people that are on this path, and it's all like, but you know, the living of it, that's us being over here and having unique culture and shining such a bright light is going to attract the people over. And it doesn't seem like there's people over here because the crowd hasn't reached yet, right? But the parking is flooded, but they are coming, right? And this is pertaining to also to me to the book of Enoch and the Great Awakening, right? So it can't all happen at once. If it all happened at once, it would all crumble at once. So people need to be patient for this. The parking's flooded, but the crowd hasn't reached yet. Rasta liberty spread out of appeal, and that's what I was saying about you don't need to go around preaching it to people, and even though you gotta also speak your truth and stuff like that, but you don't need to push it on people, because people run when you push, right? It's just people are listening when they're listening. So the best idea is to live it, and the message will spread out of appeal, which means what you're doing, again, will shine the light through the darkness, and the people will want to stand in the light with us. And then it goes into some the freeness of social informative. So it's we should be socially informed. Like I'm not too sure exactly what he's getting at here, but I was thinking one thing I could say is that it's the freeness comes from our being informed about what's going on in our society, right? And that's like transparency and like always having something to teach and bring. So that's like how communities spread their cultural lineage rather than the necessity of holding teachings back from people, right? So that's like social, a healthy society is informed and is blessed with the teachings that everyone can get, right? And brings something to the table. Always has something to teach and something to bring, which means you're a contributing part of your community, and that brings you meaning, you know? And it says, a king's men or empress, intuitive, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a king or an empress, it doesn't matter, but also he's talking intuitively, so I'd say he's talking about the kingsman and the empress inside us both, and how, you know, that comes together, and that creates, pertains to the album name, which is the polarities, and that's like the feminine, the masculine, and that's most things their polarities can be broken down to these energies, you know, like conservative being masculine and liberal being feminine, and these are two different polarities of things, and hot being masculine and cold being feminine, and you know, all these different things. And you can also flip the polarities in a situational basis, right? Seeking out the right vibes or the right ways to live. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. So we're looking at this world and it's like, this is not right, right? And it's crumbling, and we're like, so we're seeking the right way and the right vibes and right ways to live, right? Because something's got to give. And you know what? If we just wait around, then we're gonna be subject to these changes that'll cause us unbelievable despair. So instead, we've got to find the right ways to live and find the right vibes to bring in, right? And something's gonna give, but we're gonna be ready for it when it gives. And this is where it gets cool because he's talking another language, but I'll try the first line because I can kind of say it, but the rest of it's a little too much for me. But I'll do it just to try to show some respect to the song. But if I was doing it wrong, well, I'm just trying to go. Fembe jale below, fembe jale below, fembe jale below. So he says 3 times there. Jaw control all, jaw control all, jaw control all, and jaw is an idea of, some people would think Jah would be God, or other people is like Jah is Jehovah, or Jah is Jehovah consciousness would be kind of like the same as Christ consciousness is another way to look at it, right? So like when you listen to truth and you get God consciousness or Jah consciousness, then you get the next line, which is Delibab Dige. I don't even know. I'm not even going to try from here on. Anyways, but Jah guide us, right? So Jah control all, and when you know that and you're humble enough to know that, you'll be guided by Jah, the path we must take, the one he shows us. Jah guide us and show us the way, right? And he's still in this other last ask. We ask him to show us the right way. Jah guide us and bless us. And so like that's like a little prayer that they put in there, and that's like a humility of what Rastafari is, and these are the blessings. You have to have faith. Also, and then the blessings come, and the faith is listening. People love of bubbling with inspirations and aspirations. So like when you connect to Jah and start listening to Jah, we get inspired and we aspire for greatness, right? And bubbling is dancing, bubbling is just creating, right? And that's how we manifest the Lord, is through creation. The committed ones, they not turn back, feeling like the heart of the sun, not dress back, and won't. So the committed ones that not turn back, the ones that no matter how hard the fight is, now feels like the heart of the sun, like hot as hell, but they will not turn back, right? That's shows that's Jah consciousness. You're sticking behind truth and righteousness, feeling like the heart of the sun. How they run that. Not dress back. No, I won't do that. Highly Selassie principled flock. So I won't dress back what I'm saying, right? I won't sugarcoat it, and I won't do that, right? This is the idea of they look to Haile Selassie just like they look to Jesus, but they also, a healthy Rasta looks to Jesus as the same way as they look to Haile Selassie, just with a different name, right? And that's Haile Selassie's principled flock. So they're saying we're a flock following a principle of what would Jesus do, or what would Haile Selassie do, or what would any religious person that has this idea of the perfect morality and trying to strive for that. All the world's start left out of Ethiopian black. Well, there's a part of that. Well, to be honest, there's science. The earliest humans we have found came out of around Ethiopia at 230,000 years ago. However, I disagree with that it all started then, and to think that it may have started in different places. Like the world changes, how it turns in the solar. There's so many variables there and I believe this time is endless in all directions, so we can't make such a statement, but let's go to the truth of it anyways. And we can't even say, and let's another part that there's the other truth of that is that there is a truth there. As far as science goes, that's what it says. So let's stick to that. Anyway, but he says Ethiopia black. So there's the science is a bit flawed on the thought that we all come from African genetics. Like all of us came from black. Isn't actually doesn't line up with science. But he writes another song called Black Carbon, and he explains his polarity on that, what he's saying there, right? But and I'll get to that later. I'll leave that to as one sitting there to be resolved. But all the worlds start from Ethiopia black, which okay, and until you say I've not left yet, which means like if you're in Ethiopia means the way you live, and then you can live that way anywhere you are. If you can say I live for I'm not left yet. You know, vibes are to feel and come out of fret. Royal people, everything's blessed. You know, so light your incense. You know, we have to know like that. You know, we smudge ourselves, right? And people are like, "Is there really anything that you get from that?" Well, no. When you treat life as if it's blessed, like I love to hold my stones. Right? They calm me, they soothe me, right? And as we know, placebo could be stronger than actual effect. So, you know, start out by trying to believe. And when something happens that makes you believe, then that's one step closer to knowing. And if you stay on that path and stick to that truth and watch everything being blessed, even the darkest corners, then you won't just you won't just believe anymore. You'll know that everything is blessed. Much love. Oh, and if you want to support this channel, I'm gonna try to put up 2 videos a day, one of my own songs and one from this album to start, because it's my favorite album right now and it inspired me to live my truth just like Jordan Peterson did, but even to a way higher degree. So thank you very much. If you want to support, I'm going to get a Patreon or something like that set up soon enough, but if you can just let me know that you want to support and we can find a way to make it happen, you can email me at melatonic, MELATONIC, at protonmail.com. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.